Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're retaking a flight over one of the world's most enduring and mind-boggling mysteries, the Nazca Lines in Peru. Imagine this, you're flying over a bone-dry, desolate desert plain, and suddenly, etched into the landscape below, you see gigantic figures. A spider, a monkey with a swirling tail, a hummingbird with a wingspan longer than a football field. These aren't just doodles, they're massive geoglyphs, some stretching over 1,000 feet, carved into the earth by the Nazca people between 500 BC and 500 AD. The sheer scale is staggering. There are over 800 straight lines, 300 geometric figures, and 70 incredible designs of animals and plants. And here's the kicker, these intricate drawings are so enormous that they can only be fully appreciated from the air. This begs the million-dollar question, how did a civilization, centuries before the invention of flight, create art that's best viewed from the sky? And perhaps even more compellingly, why? The technique itself was surprisingly simple, yet incredibly effective. The Nazca Desert is one of the driest places on Earth. The ground is covered by a layer of reddish-brown, iron oxide-coated pebbles. The Nazca people discovered that by simply removing this top layer of dark rock, they could expose the lighter-colored soil underneath. This created a stark, lasting contrast because there's so little rain, wind, or erosion. These lines have been remarkably preserved for nearly 2,000 years. It's like a gigantic, natural etch-a-sketch. Creating these designs, however, was anything but simple. Think about it. To draw a perfectly straight line that runs for miles, or a complex, curving figure like the famous condor without being able to see the whole picture from above is an extraordinary feat of engineering and geometry. Archaeologists believe the Nazca people used basic survey techniques. They likely used wooden stakes and long ropes to lay out the designs. By establishing fixed points and measuring angles and distances, they could scale up small drawings to colossal proportions on the desert floor. It required meticulous planning, a deep understanding of geometry, and a massive, coordinated labor force. This wasn't the work of a few people, it was a community-wide, generational effort. So, they had the skill, but what was the purpose? This is where the real mystery deepens and the theories start flying. One of the earliest and most popular ideas, proposed by researcher Maria Reich, who dedicated her life to studying the lines, was that they formed a massive astronomical calendar. She suggested that some of the lines align with the rising and setting of the sun, moon, and specific stars during important times of the year, like the solstices. This would have helped the Nazca people track seasons, predict planting and harvesting times, and organize their agricultural society. Imagine the desert floor as a giant celestial clock, connecting the people on Earth with the cosmos above. But the calendar theory doesn't explain everything, especially the animal figures. This leads us to another powerful theory. The lines were connected to water rituals. In a desert where water is the most precious resource, it makes sense that much of their religious life would revolve around it. Some researchers have discovered that many of the lines and geometric shapes seem to point directly to sources of water, like underground aquifers and wells, or to the mountains from which the water flowed. The animal figures, like the spider often associated with rain in ancient cultures or the hummingbird and frigatebird creatures not native to the desert, might have been offerings or prayers to the gods for rain and fertility. The lines could have been sacred pathways, ceremonial walkways that people would travel along during religious rituals, chanting and praying for water to sustain their crops and their lives. Walking these lines would have been a deeply spiritual experience, a pilgrimage etched into the very fabric of their world. Each step along the path of the monkey or the heron would be part of a larger, sacred dance, connecting the community with their deities and the life-giving forces of nature. Then, of course, we have the more out there theories. In the late 1960s, author Erich von Däniken, in his book Chariots of the Gods, famously proposed that the Nazca Lines were ancient runaways for alien spacecraft. While it's a fun and captivating idea that has certainly captured the public imagination, there's zero archaeological evidence to support it. Scientists point out that the desert floor is soft and could support the landing of a heavy craft, and the designs are more artistic than functional for a runway. It's a theory that makes for great science fiction, but it doesn't hold up to scientific scrutiny. A more grounded, recent theory combines elements of the others. It suggests the lines were multi-purpose. They weren't just for one thing, but served various functions for the community. Perhaps the straight lines were indeed related to water sources and astronomy. At the same time, the animal figures could have represented different clans or family groups. Picture this: during a large festival, different clans would gather, and each would be responsible for maintaining and walking the path of their specific animal glyph. It would be a way to unify the society, reinforce social identity, and perform collective rituals that benefited everyone. This idea paints a picture of a complex society using the desert landscape as a giant canvas for their social, political, and religious expression. One fascinating discovery that supports the ritual theory is the presence of broken pottery at the intersections of many lines. It seems that people would gather at these key points and ceremonially smash pots, perhaps as part of the ritual or as an offering. This physical evidence gives us a tangible link to the human activities that took place on these lines so long ago. What's truly amazing is that we're still discovering new lines today. With modern technology like drones and satellite imagery, researchers are constantly finding previously unknown geoglyphs hidden from view for centuries. Just a few years ago, dozens of new figures were found, many belonging to the even earlier Paracas culture, showing this tradition of earth carving is even older than we thought. Each new discovery adds another piece to this incredible puzzle. The Nazca lines are more than just drawings in the sand. They are a silent, sprawling testament to the ingenuity, faith, and worldview of an ancient people. They remind us that even without the technology we have today, humans have always found profound ways to make their mark on the world, to reach for the heavens, and to express their place within the universe. They didn't need to fly to see their creation in its entirety. The act of creating it, of walking the sacred paths, was what truly mattered. The lines weren't just for being seen. They were for being experienced. So, what do you think? Were the Nazca lines a giant astronomical calendar, a map to precious water, ceremonial pathways, or something else entirely? Let me know your favorite theory down in the comments. It is one of those mysteries where the journey of exploration is just as fascinating as any potential answer. Thanks so much for joining me on this flight over ancient Peru. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Until next time, stay curious.